Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. To all new subscribers, welcome. Now, apologies for the delay in this section due to I've been looking at other, things like the testimonies and also looking at other content creators, see what they've got as well. This is section 4 of the interrogation of Mr. Richard Allen as done by Mr. Jerry Holman. And I come from an actual professional background of enforcement and investigatory work. I did 8 years of it. I've interviewed or interrogated over 300 people with a pretty impressive arrest rate. Now, in all my years, I have never seen such a travesty as this. I've just watched the video over and over again. As usual, I have taken timestamps down where I particularly notice things, and I'll be doing my own assessment based on my own thoughts and opinions on said subject. So, last time I left you, it was at 1.16 on the timestamp, which is 1 hour 16. And Holman has left the room. He was quite possibly going to pick up Kathy Allen to come and talk to her husband. Fair enough, but it's generally not the done thing, unless it's specifically requested by either the POI or the spouse. At 1.17.52, Kathy Allen enters the room alone, and you can just hear Holman's voice in the background saying, talk to your wife. Okay, fair enough. 1.18.14. Rick says to Kathy, they are trying to tell me that you believe that I did this. I can't believe that, and I refuse to believe that. Yeah, he's always been very open, very honest with her, judging by the body language and microfacial transmissions. Being non-deceptive. At 1.18.43, I didn't even have my gun on that day. So I can't understand how a round from my gun was on that crime scene. Again, non-deceptive. He's completely and utterly stumped. He just can't believe or even register this particular thing that Holman has shown him. That's pretty fair enough. He's also being non-deceptive by this. At 1.1954, I didn't murder anybody, nor would I. I had no part in this. Again, non-deceptive. At 1.2018, Kathy replies with, yes, I know. That is a woman who has just witnessed her husband laying it all out there. And from her body language, she's confused, frightened, and very visibly upset. There's no mistaking it. No mistaking it whatsoever. At 1.40, at 21.41, Kathy points out that the police officers said that there was a round in a box on your dresser. We all know which she was referring now, don't we? Yeah. So you got they said that they found a round in a little box by Mr. Allen's bed. So 2 rounds were found. Something doesn't quite add up there, ladies and gentlemen. Something definitely doesn't add up there. 1.21.38. Rick says to Kathy, "Do you know what? I've never even seen those 2 girls." Again, non-deceptive. He wasn't lying. Hands were outspread, palms upwards. Kathy is still visibly confused, frightened, and upset. Understandably so. At 1.26.02, Rick says, "They want me to tell them that I did it." By this point, Mr. Allen is very strongly suspecting that he's being stitched up. And to be honest with you, I don't blame him. I do not blame that man one bit. Bearing in mind that he read his Miranda rights from the word get-go, I will refer you to section 1, where he could have easily and cheerfully walked out that door and not looked back. It is unlawful for a police officer to arrest somebody without first reading them their rights. It's against the law in any country in the world. You have to be read your rights. Please understand this. At 1.26, Rick says to Kathy, "I don't carry the gun unless we're going mushroom hunting or mushroom foraging, fishing down the river, or just walking through the woods, specifically if there's rumours of large amounts of wild beasts around." Again, non-deceptive, and that is a perfectly fair statement to make. I'd imagine that there's all sorts of wild beasts out there. He can't even recall the last time he carried his personal firearm. Again, that's non-deceptive. At 1.29, he advises Kathy to get herself an attorney, and then adds on, "Don't worry about me. Get yourself an attorney. Get yourself covered." Pretty wise words. Excuse me. Okay. At this point, Jerry Holman has re-entered. At 1.24, no, 28. Apologies for that one. Jerry Holman has re-entered the room whilst Kathy's still in there. And Rick and Jerry Holman are arguing. Rick says to Holman, "You've only got one piece of evidence about all this. As I previously stated in my last section, section 3, you have to have a lot more evidence if you wish to secure an arrest. a lot more evidence than just a few bits of paper with photos and whatever on it. You have to have more than that. End of. Okay? At 1.29.45, Rick says, I told you the truth, and you don't even want to hear it. Fair enough. Yeah? Now, Homer's at 1.31.22, or just seconds prior, Rick requests that Kathy leave the room. He knows what's up. He's not stupid. This is granted. And as Kathy is leaving the room, Homer turns around to Rick and says, well, first of all, he says, tell him to do the right thing, Kathy. Tell him to do the right thing. That's what's known as a coercive statement. I have reason to believe that she was coerced into entering that room. Judging from her body language, her subdued voice pattern, and everything else. That is a no. That is a very, very strict no-no. You don't coerce a partner of your person of interest or suspect. You're going to have respect for them at all times. To Rick, Holman says, you're going to put your family through this for no reason. That's a pretty accusing statement, Mr. Holman. You see, Rick is trying to keep his family out of it. Otherwise, why would he advise Kathy to get an attorney as soon as possible? He doesn't want his family involved. So, therefore, that's a no-no. You don't do it. You don't make statements like that. Ever. Holman returns into the room, and Rick says to him, you know what? You're going to pay for what you did to my wife. Yeah, you could come against me all you want, but leave her out of it. Hell, leave me out of it. This indicates he doesn't wish to know anymore. He's through listening to whatever Holman is saying. He's done. He's had enough. At 1.33.25, Holman appears to really lose it. F-bombs all over the place. You name it. As I've said in one of my earlier videos, it is never a wise idea to lose your temper in front of a POI or suspect. Simply because of the fact you've got to keep control of not only yourself, but the situation. And all that does is just heighten emotions, it creates more aggression, and it also can cause your suspect or POI to clam the hell up. Not the best idea. At 133.28, the video cuts out at this point, but you can still hear audio of those two shouting at each other. Believe me, there's a lot of effing and blinding in this. And understandably so from Rick's department, simply because of the fact that he's just had this 6'1" guy that's built like a brick house effing and blinding him for the last 40 seconds. What would you do? If that was me, I'd tell the guy where to get off. At 1.33.39, now things just slightly calmed down on Rick's side. I'm done talking to you. Arrest me. Holeman's response, happy to. I'd be extremely happy to arrest you. Well, what? You don't ever say that you're going to be happy to arrest somebody. You don't. Not ever. Not once. At this point, Holeman leaves the room and he says, fucking hell. At 1.34.09, the first word that comes out of Rick's mouth, and he actually mouths this, is mother. And he goes, fucking bully. He's had Holeman pegged from the word go. He recognises the type. Big, brawny, probably a high school jock. He had him pegged. And this is where the actual video truly ends. Now, like I said, in all my years, I've never seen such a travesty of an interrogation at all. There are any number of things that shouldn't have been done. Now, I'm also hoping that this video will enlighten anyone in any country, in any state, the next time that you have a brush with the law. Keep a very close eye on the police officer or the enforcement officer that's interviewing you. You do have the right to call in an attorney or a lawyer from the word go. You have that legal right. If your rights have not been read to you, that interview or interrogation need not even take place. I hope that this has been enlightening for you, ladies and gentlemen. Now, I'm going to take a small break, and then I'll be back with another analysis and assessment video very soon. I hope you enjoyed this. Please like and subscribe. Have a good one.